This lyrical portrayal of two girls by Auguste Renoir is one of the most popular works in the Art Institute. Renoir painted it in 1881, setting it on the terrace of the restaurant Fournaise, which overlooked a modest stretch of the River Seine just outside Paris. By 1881, he had been visiting the restaurant and painting its fashionable Parisian visitors and beautiful surroundings for more than 10 years. Here, Renoir depicts an elegant young woman sitting in the warm sunshine, accompanied by a little girl. They are not, in fact, sisters, but unrelated models, despite the painting's title. The young woman wears a female boater's blue flannel costume, which she has enlivened with a cherry red hat and a cluster of bright spring flowers on the bodice. These elements, with the little girl's flower-laden hat and their basket of wool, lend the image an intense, vibrant quality. The hats and wool basket are built up with thick swaths of paint. They contrast strikingly with the girl's porcelain-like faces, whose rosy coloring is painted with tiny brushstrokes, giving their skin a smooth, delicate effect. In the late 19th century, the picturesque little towns on the River Seine, just west of Paris, became popular destinations for Parisians wanting to enjoy a day out. This is one of many paintings made by Renoir at the restaurant Fournaise, which overlooked the river. The two men and a woman sit on one of the restaurant's river terraces, enjoying the summer afternoon after a leisurely lunch. They may all have spent the morning in more active pursuits. The man to the left was a well-known patron of a swimming establishment nearby. His friend to the right is dressed in a rower's white shirt and pants, and their companion wears a female boater's blue costume, as does the woman we see through the trellis. Beyond her, a racing boat cuts through the water at a faster pace. On the terrace, Renoir evokes the atmosphere of relaxation and quietness as the party lingers over wine and fruit. His soft, loose brushwork perfectly conveys the slightly hazy afternoon light. It filters through the trellis to fall glowingly on the men's white costumes, and the thicker paint application highlights the edges of the wine glasses and decanter with points of dazzling, dancing brilliance.
Along with Claude Monet, Pierre-Auguste Renoir is considered one of the masters of Impressionism, a style that sought to capture light and movement through bold combinations of colors applied in a rapid volley of brushstrokes. In Near the Lake, Renoir is experimenting with a slightly different approach. Instead of unifying his picture with an overall sense of atmospheric light, he varies his brushstrokes to suit the subject at hand. Longer horizontal strokes for the sparkling water in the background, shorter vertical strokes for the hanging vines, and thinner marks in a kind of hatching pattern to bring out textures in the clothing. Renoir's focus on the leisure activities of the middle class, as opposed to the wealthy, is one hallmark of Impressionism. The casually dressed man at the left wears the banded straw hat of an amateur boatman. For his companion, Renoir posed a 21-year-old seamstress named Aline Chadigot, who soon became his mistress and then his wife and the mother of his 3 children. Near the Lake was a gift to the museum from Bertha Palmer, a Chicago socialite who with her husband, financier Potter Palmer, became an enthusiastic collector of modern art. In 1891 alone, she bought 25 paintings by Monet, whom she had met in Paris. Another friend of Mrs. Palmer's was the American painter Mary Cassatt. As an expatriate member of the Impressionist circle, Cassatt guided the Palmers and other Americans in their purchases of modern art. In 1893, Mrs. Palmer was the head of the Board of Lady Managers at the World's Columbian Exposition, an event that gave many Chicagoans their first exposure to Impressionism.
Renoir painted these 2 young acrobats at a popular Parisian circus in 1879. Douglas Druick, president, and Eloise W. Martin, director of the Art Institute of Chicago.
The younger sister stands holding the oranges, which the appreciative audience is throwing to the girls after their performance. And the older sister is gesturing to the crowd. In fact, they look more like dancers having finished performance rather than acrobats. And this emphasis on the grace with which they hold themselves rather than on the contortions of their performance as acrobats is typical of the way Renoir approached a subject when making a painting. He was interested in conveying a sense of beauty and harmony in the picture.
Renoir's scene is not illuminated by the harsh gaslight that was then used in circuses.
Rather, we see these two young girls depicted as if they are out of doors, with a very gentle light which draws attention to the golden details of their costume and their hair ribbons and their boots, so that we get a chromatic harmony and great delicacy.
Renoir's close-up view of the acrobats is that of an audience member with opera glasses, such as the well-dressed man to the upper right.
And so this is the type of subject which in the late 1870s, when Renoir made this, represented the quintessence of modern, fashionable life in Paris.
The artist Pierre-Auguste Renoir once wrote, "In antiquity and among simple peoples, the woman sings and dances. Gracefulness is her domain and even her duty." In this painting, Renoir perfectly encapsulates this ideal, depicting music making as a graceful extension of female beauty. His subject is a pretty young woman dressed in a fashionably flowing indoor dress who plays the piano with a sense of poise and ease. We can imagine her fingers ranging softly over the keys, bringing forth a melody as gentle and elegant as she herself. The woman does not exert herself with her playing. Rather, she seems absorbed in the music, which gives the painting a meditative, almost dreamlike quality. This is reflected by the way Renoir portrays the setting with layers of intermingled, curving brushstrokes that ensure nothing has a hard or definite edge. A soft, diffused light comes from an unseen window, illuminating the warm tones of her hands. Like the piano keys beneath them, almost everything in the room is touched with different shades of blue, which enhances the painting's calm, reflective atmosphere.